Okay, we're going to do the Pythagorean theorem today. The Pythagorean theorem has to do with right triangles only. So here we go. First of all, let me tell you about a right triangle. You know it's a right triangle because it has a 90-degree angle, but there's also names to the sides of the triangle. There's two legs that make up the 90-degree angle, and then there's the longest side, which we refer to as the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse, again, is the longest side. That's this side. So see, that's how you spell it if you're looking for that. Otherwise, these are legs. This is considered A, this is considered B. Honestly, it doesn't matter which one is A and which one is B, because it will fit in the formula with the commutative property. Here's the formula for Pythagorean theorem. It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So all you need to do is plug the numbers into the formula. Take the square, not the square root, take the square 21 and square 20, right like that. Add them together and you're left here. Remember in previous lessons, I told you when solving a square, the only way to undo it is to take the square root of each side. So when I take the square root of both sides, I get c equals 29. And if I go back and show you, I said to you the hypotenuse is the longest side. And if you look at the measurements of the other two legs, you can see that this is the longest side. And that's how you use the Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse. So let's do it again. So I have my two legs. How do I know? Because the two legs form the 90-degree angle, and the hypotenuse is the longest side. You can see that from the picture. So you go 4 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. 16 plus 9 equals c squared. And then you would have 25 equals c squared. The only way to undo a square is to take the square root of both sides. C is equal to 5. Sorry. So when I go back up here, I can see 5 meters is the longest side out of the 4 and the 3. So again, that's using the Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse. What if I have a right triangle and I'm missing a leg? It's the same kind of process, just one more step involved, and just like solving an equation. So using the Pythagorean theorem, you substitute the numbers in appropriately. Again, it doesn't matter if this is A or B. It just matters that you understand that this is C because it's directly across from the 90 degrees and the longest. So back over here, we do 11 squared, 121 equals 64. Then we're going to add a negative 64 or subtract 64 from both sides because we're solving for b squared. And when you get that, you get b squared equals 57. 57 is not a perfect square, so when I take the square root of both sides, this is irrational, so I'm going to have to get an approximate answer. And so we would say it's about, so when I would do it on my homework, I would say about 7 5/10 of a meter would be your answer. So that's how you use the Pythagorean theorem to find a leg. So if we do it again, same process, acknowledge what you have, go a squared plus 8 squared equals 15 squared. So we have a squared plus 64 equals 225. Go ahead and add or subtract, add a negative 64, or you can say just subtract 64 from both sides. I'm going to get a squared is equal to 161. Undo the square with the square root. And a is going to be approximately 12 7/10 of an inch. There you go. Even though it doesn't look like it, this is not a very good picture. Clearly, this leg looks longer than this leg, and we're saying that this one is 12 7/10 of an inch. So you can't go by what the picture looks like. You got to go by plugging it into the formula. Just remember that for your homework. Same kind of process here. This time it's a story. So you have a building that's 10 feet tall, and then you have a ladder that's pressed against the building. And from the end of the ladder to the building, see, so that the base of the ladder is 3 feet from the building, we're looking for C. How do I know? Longest side across from the 90-degree angle. So I'm going to do the same process. I'm looking for the hypotenuse. So 10 squared plus 3 squared equals C squared. So we have 100 plus 9 equals C squared. And we have 109 equals C squared. Undo the square with the square root. And you'll see that it's approximately 10 4/10. And it works out. There you go. There you go. And if we did it again, same kind of process, but this time we have the building and we know that the ladder is 18 feet and we know that the building is 14 feet. We're looking for this leg right here, right there. So we're going to do 14 squared plus b squared equals 18 squared, like that. And once you do out the problem, you'll find out that your answer will be C. Giving you time to read the problem and look at it one more time. How do you determine if a triangle is a right triangle? If you don't have the picture of the triangle with the 90-degree angle, you can do it based on just the measurements using the formula. Now remember what I tell you. How do you know which one is the hypotenuse? Well, the longest one. So we know this is C. And it doesn't matter if this is A, this is B, or this is B and this is A. It doesn't matter. You plug it into the formula. And you want to see if both sides equal. If both sides equal each other, then it's a right triangle. If they don't, then it's not a right triangle. And in this case, they don't, so it's not a right triangle. It's pretty simple to do. Just plug it into that formula. Let's try it again. So we would have 24, in this case, we would have 24 squared plus 70 squared equals 74 squared. So you want to see if those are equal when you do them out. And in this case, you would see that they are, and therefore it is a right triangle. You can try it out on these two examples. You could pause it right here. There you go. That's the end of 9.5.